marketing and business strategy and sales strategy is what I just said, is connected to my why, knowing my values, being in line with my standards, and expressing that, honoring and loving myself and being authentic, not manipulating myself or trying to manipulate someone else to come and buy from me or exchange with me. I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want to be in the model of hype and the model of glamour and the model of sell. I want to be connected to myself and my soul. And it works so well, right? So you can have a voice of authenticity on low volume that is so much more louder and connected and powerful than someone on full volume, massive speakers just going hype, hype, glamour, glamour. When you slow down enough to feel yourself and be the authenticity and the embodiment of your message, which means what you're actually saying when you say that, if you're really being honest, is that I'm willing to do the work to step into my power, to heal and release what's holding me back, so that I am the embodiment of my message. Like, being the embodiment of your message is the #1 sales strategy, is the #1 business strategy, is the #1 alignment strategy, because love is intrinsically everyone's #1 goal. Love, peace, happiness, purpose, evolution is the most natural, intrinsic, magnetic, powerful drive in every single person alive. So when you learn that and do that for yourself, and you lead yourself and you step into your authenticity, I lead myself so I can lead you. I trust myself so you can trust me. I move through my pain and my emotions. So therefore, you know that I'm a safe person to be with. Then people want to follow you, engage with you, and listen to your message. If you're sharing academic knowledge, stuff that you've read in a book, it's not going to engage and light up people. It might like engage them a little bit, but you could have two different people read the same passage from a book, right? You go, hey, you two people over here, can we do an experiment with you guys? And you're going to be the audience right now. And then person #1 reads the book, and they're expressing all of the academic knowledge you need to know. They might even have great tonality and great charisma, and they might be like really handsome. It's loaded up, and they might be dressed well and branded well, and they might have great lighting and great imagery and great graphic designing, all that stuff. And they're reading out the academic knowledge, and you're going to feel it, and you're like, yeah, I sort of feel it. That's kind of cool. I can kind of get that. And then you have someone else who shows up, right? And they read the exact same words, but they feel it and they understand it and they know it's true because they're being that, right? And you might cry, and that paragraph might stay with you for the rest of your life because you felt it. Right? We don't remember what people say. We remember how we feel when they say it, right? Or how they make us feel. So when you step into embodying your message, the impact and the resonance that you're going to have is incomparable. And there is a massive shift going on in my perception on business, on the planet. We're stepping into your vibration is your wealth, your currency is your vibration. Your vibration is your currency. People are getting more and more aware, subconsciously. Even people who don't know they're psychic are getting more able to read people's intentions and energies. So this is happening. People are getting much more psychic and intuitive on the planet. So all you really need to do as your #1 convincing strategy is believe in yourself and love yourself, right? Which means doing the hard ass work, okay? So it's simple, but it's intense, okay? But if you really want your business to be happy and built on a solid foundation, so that when it grows, it's growing on a solid foundation, which means it won't need to collapse or fall over or have issues and friction in the future because you're out of alignment with yourself, right? So everything's energy, and the universe is always responding to your energy. So remember, if you don't build your business in alignment with your truth and your value and your why, then you're growing a big tree without enough roots. And then sure enough, in life is going to be windy and stormy, and that's going to fall over, or there's going to be chaos and mayhem. And then in the rebuilding of that, you're going to learn the lesson you didn't learn. So why not learn it now, and why not start now? And even if you're already, like I'm saying, if you're a 7-figure earner right now, it just gets more, everything I'm saying gets more potent and more profound. And so when people I work with who are really, really successful, when they drop in and stop in and feel this, it can really, really change and transform. And sometimes the biggest truths in life are actually really, really subtle. So you might have heard all this information before, and a lot of people I work with have already heard this information, understand this information. But when you can read someone and feel someone, and spirit gives you a message about where actually you're at in the illusion that you're in, or the contraction that you're in compared to where you think you are, or compared to what you think you know. Then that can be like a subtle shift. It can be a shift that's so small, but can have such a profound influence on your life. Because otherwise, before that, you thought you were doing it, you thought you knew how it worked, and you thought you had it figured out. So if we understand that all misalignment in life is basically a misunderstanding and a lack of awareness and implementation. So all alignment in life is basically a misunderstanding, a lack of awareness and implementation. So the further along your journey you are on healing and embodiment and empowerment, the more, this is speaking of my own experience, the more that when I work with people, the more that explodes and helps them. Because the subtle things in life, the subtle shift is what can be more profound, which is why I said at the start of this talk, please be really open to what I'm saying, even if you've heard all this before, or even if you haven't heard any of this before. Because the openness to feel it and connect to the feeling vibration, how you feel when I speak to you, is you being receptive to truth. You conceptually understanding what I'm speaking about is like about a teaspoon worth of frequency receptivity. You feeling what I'm talking about and being honest to feel it and get the aha moments, even if they're scary, or they blow your noodle, or they blow up all you thought you knew about life and logic and all the things that your brain is saying and all the ways that you're conditioned to believe. If it's really going to blow that up and expose it, if you're able to feel it, instead of like taking a teaspoon of academic knowledge, you're taking like an ocean of information and frequency. So I hope that this is like landing for you guys. Can you guys, is this like, can you send me some information on the chat so I can see how this is landing? If you're confused about this and you don't know about it, you're like, no, I don't believe this, or I don't understand that, just relax. I'm going to answer some questions at the end. And awesome, amazing guys. Oh, cool, beautiful. Just please know that if this isn't all working for you or fully understanding or resonating with you, that anyone who's having a really hard time understanding this, or it's like bringing up something for you in your business, you can ask me a question at the end, and I will just laser in on a few people and give you like a perspective or a frequency like analysis, so you can see what's actually going on for you. And then that will really serve everyone else to really get it on a deeper level too. Amazing guys. Oh, so cool. Well, love and love and love in return to you all. So what we talked about so far is, number one thing is your why, and you're creating values and standards from that. Number two, having the courage to be present. So having the courage to be present with your energy alignment to your why and your values and your standards will completely radically transform your life, because then you'll be able to step into alignment with your values and your standards and your why. So energy alignment is actually really, really simple. It's knowing what your energy alignment is. What is your why? What actually lights your heart up? Not linear, not logic, not what your parents thought you should do, not what society says you do to be happy, but what do I actually want to do to be happy? Knowing what your energy is, knowing the standards and the values of your energy, having the courage and presence and power to implement and shift from unalignment to alignment. So do you see how really simple this is, right? It's really, really simple. And here's the bit we're going to really jump into, like some nice confrontation for you guys about what it's really about. So the essence of what all of this is about, let's use a metaphor. So I was in a food court in Cairns. I hope I'm saying that the right way, because I'm a Kiwi. I've always said Cairns in a funny way, right? I think it's Cairns and Cairns and Cairns and Cairns. But so I was in Cairns in Queensland, and I was in a food court, and there were all these birds living in the food court, living in a false ecosystem and a false reality. So instead of being in nature and connected to their beauty and their poise and their presence and the abundance of what was available for them in nature, they were stuck in total scarcity and fear. They were freaking out and full competition with each other. So there was little tiny scraps of food on the floor, and they would all run in and bite and squawk at each other. And they were so unhealthy, living on this like rubbish food diet. And I just looked at these birds and I could just really feel, wow, these birds are so disconnected from who they are. And I can see it because there's no vitality. There's no balance, there's no poise, there's no presence. They're squawking, they're angry, they're afraid. They're not having enough abundance, enough food. And what they're getting into their system is rubbish, it's toxic, it's junk food. They shouldn't be eating this food. But they're stuck in this false reality. They're living in a false reality, and they're not stepping back and looking at that false reality and leaving it to go back to the natural state. If they were in nature right now, so if they just got their wings and flapped them, went up and went, wait a minute, what's this green stuff over here? There's other birds over there living really happily, just like you might right now be looking at other people living their life in abundance and flow and alignment and love from a higher perspective. And you look at these birds over here, these people over here, and you go, well, they're living in alignment. They seem to be happy and present and in flow. What do I need to decondition myself from? What do I need to relearn, redo, and put myself in a learning alignment process with? So cool, because when I get in these states of like when I'm in this energy, what happens to me is that my brain doesn't always work and so well. So my logical part of my brain doesn't always work so well. And so a call came up on my phone, and instead of like ending the call to come back to here, I ended you guys to answer the call. So that's just funny, isn't it? So it is hilarious. So maybe we all needed a micro break and readjustment. So always just trusting life and it's in flow, right? So it always ends up working out for us. So let's use these birds as an analogy, right? These birds are a microsystem, that's the false reality, a false ecosystem of reality. They're stuck in lack and competition. They're eating junk food. They're not actually getting good stuff into their system. But the main thing is their vibration is so off. They're so unhappy. They're missing feathers, and they're just having a really, really rubbish experience of life. And they're not going up to have a satellite view, looking at their conditioned system and looking at how other people are living in their natural state, like these other birds living in nature. They're so happy. They're in constant abundance. Every day they have all this food to eat. Every day they're perching and breathing and just being present and happy. And they're so eating all the good food. So their body's so healthy. They're present. They're squawking. They're musical. They're connected to each other, not in competition with each other. They're like, hey, we're a community. We're connected. We're in love with each other. So isn't that just the best analogy for our conditioning and our societal conditioning? Right? So we grow up being taught by society and our parents to believe in fear and lack and competition, and that we have to be stuck in this loop of slavery, this loop of slavery to the system, slavery to the 9 to 5, slavery to our parents' fears and society's fears. And so we stay in this ecosystem. You can borrow that analogy anytime. You can borrow anything I'm saying. Feel free to like, yeah, anything. That's cool. It's just such a great analogy. And it's what it does is it highlights that you can spend your whole life finessing and getting better as a bird in this false reality and never really get anywhere. So you've got the king of the jungle, like the bird who's at the top of the pile in this analogy, right? Deeply unhappy, deeply disconnected, doesn't even know it, right? And so why would you create your business and your success and your business alignment and abundance in life in that environment? Because you can get all the things you think you want and be deeply, deeply unhappy, deeply disconnected. But the main thing is you actually miss the gift of life. You are stuck in doing and you're not being happy, you're not being loved, and you haven't climbed your mountain. And the reason that self-development is so good for your confidence and makes you feel so good is because it's so hard. You can climb Mount Everest and risk your life. That's really what you want to do. That was really like, that's it, I'm doing it. And all that dedication and hard work and risk and like investment and money and all the stuff you do to finally put that flag on top of that mountain, that's why it feels so damn good, right? Same reason it feels so damn good to evolve yourself.